Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
Straight off a cuff, we don't care. Right, okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, are we ready? So, welcome to episode 21. You can tell we've been doing it a long time because I didn't have to ask Danny how many episodes we've actually done. So, episode 21 of Chippy Tea Podcast. What is Chippy Tea Podcast? It is a nice, slow, relaxed, meandering walk through this week's week. All the ups, the downs, the what we have done, what we haven't done. It features me, Tony P from Palm Print, and
Danny Day. Oh shit, I did a week long order. Danny Day from Flip Sweep Fingo. Did it backwards.
That's it. There's some proper bad juju walking about now.
I know. Might as well just walked under a ladder.
So, what we basically do is we have a little chat between me and Danny. This is just nice and informal about what we've been up to this week and what we've been doing, what sort of trials and tribulations we've been through, what sort of crap week we've had, what sort of good week we've had, whether there's any highlights that stand out, you know, when somebody just randomly comes up to you in the street and says, "Hey, Danny, what sort of week have you had?"
I don't want to talk about it.
That's been a good episode.
See you next week.
Yeah. So have you had a shit week?
Yeah.
Come on, this is real life. This everybody has shit weeks. This is real life.
Yeah, we're keeping it real, aren't we? Well, It's been a week. I've been working on one order, basically. And this order is all the colours, all the print locations, and it's for a real high-end customer in the motorsport industry. And as me and you know, that gets me excited because I like me racing.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to get this customer. Now, the customer is incredibly particular about colours.
Are you printing "I'm sorry" for Max?
No, I am not. Listen, you know, I'm Team Max. I've seen old Lulu ignore team orders plenty of times. So call it pot kettle black or whatever they say. I'm not kidding.
Calling kettle grimy ass. Yeah, something like that.
So anyway, super particular on colour, like incredibly particular.
Yeah.
This is a few week build up, this order, so going back and forth with visual mock ups, making sure everything is exactly as they need it. All was ticked off and approved. Printed the shirts, first issue. So the shirts were provided to us, and I got everything out on prep, stacked up, ready to print. Grabbed the first shirt, looked at it, 100% cotton, no messing, print them away. Printed all the sleeves, 5 colours, printed the fronts, which was 4 colours, printed the backs, 4 colours. As I got towards the bottom of the pile, with some long sleeves, carried on printing. Finished the job.
80/20s, weren't there?
Fucking 80/20s. So, my first issue, I got in the next day, the white, which I was super happy with how pristine, a solid opaque white, is now fucking green. The short sleeves, which were 100% cotton, spot on. Yeah. The long sleeves, they'd gone off colour, off white. And considering how particular we are about colour,
you knew you weren't going to get away with it.
I knew I wasn't going to get away with it. So I had this genius idea of trying to overprint the white with poly white. Now, bear in mind, this was a tiny little detail, and I had the screen off at top. I was manoeuvring it to position, squeegee up. Anyway, that was a really shit idea. It didn't work.
Yeah,
I wasted my time, bought a shitload of ink, which I will probably never use, pissed about for a day, only to realise, Danny, you're just doing this stupid.
Yeah.
Reordered the long sleeves.
Reorder the shirts. What were the total costs of the reorder?
Well, it took a couple £100 it was, for the short sleeves. Part 1. Part 2. So, first thing I did was get onto the customer and email them and say, look, really sorry, this is what's happened. I thought I could maybe fix it and get them out to you. It turns out it's been a disaster. I'm going to have to start from scratch on the long sleeves. Can you give me a couple more days? I'll get the short sleeves to you. They're perfect. You'll be totally happy with them. All was okay. They were really grateful that I was so open and, just honest with them about the whole process, which was at least one good positive.
Yeah, you've got to be though, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always found back in the day when you first start, you might be a bit apprehensive because it's horrible. It's an horrible feeling. You've let someone down. You've got all this anxiety anyway, and then you've got to email them, and then you're just watching that. It's like, oh, I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've just learnt of it years. Be open, be honest, and keep people updated. If you drag it out and leave it till they have to get in touch with you, that's usually when shit hits the fan.
You're already on that foot, yeah.
Yeah. So, ordered in some new long sleeves. Couple £100. Is it end at world? No. It's another few days worth of, it's another day or so printing. But anyway, I got another email this morning actually. The customer's got the short sleeves and the colours are in the wrong position to what they wanted. Now, this is where...
Is this you putting ink in the wrong colour, wrong screen?
No. I've done everything on my visual mock-up perfect. And this is maybe I've been a bit of a pushover here because the visual mock-up was approved exactly as I've printed it. But they're claiming a bit of ambiguity because basically, so it was a metallic silver. The ink was metallic silver. And there was also a grey. Now, in the Photoshop mock-up, you can't really represent silver other than using grey. Unless you use a gradient and add a little highlight just to make it really obvious, which I will probably do next time. It was just grey. So they were looking at the visual mock-up, they saw the graphic, they saw grey, assumed it would be that grey. Even though at the top of the visual, there was a box for each ink colour, and it clearly said silver ink. Anyway, give them a call, and we've agreed that I'm going to replace the whole lot.
We've agreed that you're going to swallow it all.
Yeah. So not only have I got to do the long sleeves, I've got to do the short sleeves. So basically, that 3 or 4 days worth of work.
3 days. Wow.
Is now back on press tomorrow, which pushes everything else back. And it is at the worst possible time. It's busy as all. It's crazy. It's Christmas time nearly, and it's obviously. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, I've got a cushion, and that's basically all my misprints, which is now my cushion for sure. So yeah, that's my week.
All right, so you've not had the best weeks then.
No, but it don't happen often.
No.
And there's lessons that have been learned. Visual mock-ups. I'm going to reassess my visuals. I think they're pretty. I don't think they're hard to misinterpret, but
Greys and silver's always difficult. So you basically need to. I mean, this raises that age-old question, doesn't it? When you put at the bottom of the visual, please check everything because mistakes cannot be rectified after.
No.
And then the customer makes a mistake and comes to you, and you're like, well, if I'm going to be an arsehole, then it's on you.
I know.
I don't want to be an arsehole because I want your business in the future. But, can we go a 50-50 on it or something? I don't want to swallow it all. So visuals and whether or not to, this raises the question on whether or not how far you push back when a mistake's made that you've put on your paperwork, which clearly says, please double check before we go to print because mistakes can't be rectified after. And then you come back and they go, well, I spelt this wrong. Well, if you're an arsehole, you go, well, it's on you. But then they don't order from you again because you were an arsehole.
Perhaps I could have used...
My aircon's just come on and I'm fucking freezing. I've got to turn it off. I thought I can stand that, but not for this long. It's going off.
I thought you started to look a bit like this.
I'm like, it's a bit...
Fucking Jack Torrance turned up.
It's cold.
Dear.
Go on, sorry. So your visual said metallic silver.
Well,
But,
yeah.
well, no, it didn't say metallic, though. You just said it said silver ink.
No, it didn't, to be fair. It said silver ink.
You need to
But it didn't say grey.
you need to reword that to be metallic.
Well, look.
Do you charge more for metallic?
Nah, I didn't. I mean, it's something. I'm working on it. There's a lot of things I've got to work on. I mean, the whole thing with pricing customers sending their own garments, that's another thing on my list. I probably shouldn't be doing that. That's something I need to knock on head, I think. I'm
all right with customers' own garments. It's what happens when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
What happens when they send you 100 and you mess one up? Who pays for it? Who pays for that one? And what's an acceptable number? So I'm not going to use the word back in day because I use it every week.
It's actually now one of those bingos.
I know, yeah. I'm going to start playing Ovis tune in background. When I were a lad and all this were fields. Back in day.
Everyone just took a shot.
We had an acceptable damage range. Do you have an acceptable damage range?
To be fair, I probably do. It's a long time since I wrote my terms. If I look back at my terms, there probably is a little disclaimer. I can't remember what it is, to be honest.
So the industry standard when we were printing onto somebody else's product, because as contract printers, as fashion printers, that's what we were doing. They weren't fully made up. Where the fuck's it come from?
Not got any windows.
So the industry standard was 3%.
Yeah, that rings a bell. I feel like I've seen
which is quite high, actually.
Yeah.
And now, the more I see it, the industry standard is around about between 0.5% and 1%, depending on how big the job is. And if the job is small, there's almost no margin for error at all.
No.
As long as the job gets bigger, and we do sort of like 40,000 sweatshirts both sides, then it's is it number of prints or is it number of garments? Well, it's number of prints. We don't care how many garments there are. It's all about prints. So we would then say, okay, it's 3% of number of prints.
Yeah, I mean, when it's 40,000, it's not as much of a hard pill to swallow. Because at the end of the day, if you knock,
it is.
Well, then again, 3%. I suppose 3% of 40,000. That is a hell of a number.
So 1% of 40,000 is it 400?
All right, I'll take that back.
So it'd be 1,200 shirts.
Yeah, never mind. I'll take that back.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So nobody works on that 3% anymore. And I'm going to cut panels so they didn't have as much value.
Yeah.
So the cut panels didn't have as much value.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, it's a lesson learned. Stuff to reevaluate. Christmas is coming soon. I'll be done with printing for a couple of weeks. And I'll sit down and give that some thought.
How much time did you put into that job?
It's been a couple of days. It's been 2 days at press, which is now probably going to be the rest of the week. Should have been done with it yesterday.
So you've got to write off 2 days press work.
A good solid 2 days, 2 long days. So I mean, as I went back to discovering that there are polyester sleeves, I obviously had to now go away and make 3 new screens with dye blocks for the front, back, and sleeve. So there was all the extra work involved. It's done me over anyway. Like I've not made any money now. So anyway, in conclusion,
it doesn't just do you over financially. It does
it's
you
the
mentally.
knock-on cost. Oh, well, it's fucking dumb. But anyway, yeah. I mean, the knock-on time effect. I mean, I worked. I have Monday set up, so I have my jobs lined up per day, and I have to tick those jobs off every day. This week's been writ off, so there's a load of jobs I should be doing, I should have done by now, but I just sat on that burner. So I'm going to have to put late night shifts in to catch up, and which upsets customers, annoys me. People who want to spend time with me get pissed off. Can't win.
Can't do a podcast.
Can't do it. Well, the podcast comes first. But anyway, lessons have been learned. I'm basically reprinting them again, the entire lot, not just for long sleeves. I'm sucking up the cost like a fucking idiot. But this is just what we've agreed to, somehow. Even though
you've been talked into swallowing the whole cost of the whole job. What are you going to do with the crap ones?
I'll just use them as scrap rags.
Yeah, eventually you get too good, and then you don't have enough rags.
Well, I've got plenty now, so it tops it up.
You're good now for the rest of the year. You're all right.
Actually, which does bring us on nicely. Before I ask how your week's been, I'm not ignorant. Turns out you're right about that test roll. It shrinks. It's shit.
So let me tell you one story then that you've had an influence on me.
Oh shit! Have you got a box as well?
No. So I'm over in Belgium, and we're run out of test shirts. Completely run out of test shirts.
Right.
And I want black test shirts. And he's got a little embroidery machine over there, and just ticks in the back of my head here, like, Danny used black filing. In fact, he bought the bleeding stuff, and it's just black filing. It's just black embroidery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm looking around. Side embroidery machine, massive big roll of black filing. So I wander across, cool as, cut myself a piece off, and the boss is looking at me like, "That's expensive. That what are you doing?" Don't worry,
watch.
I've got this.
Just you watch.
Yeah. This is straight out of Chippy Tea. This you're going to watch. You're going to be impressed.
Hold my beer.
Cut it in half. So I've got this A3 piece now because it's a massive roll. Stuck it on, and they're all like, "Oh wow, what a fantastic idea! Hey, come and look at this! What a genius!" And I'm like that. I'm not even going to tell them who Danny is. I even need to know. It's all mine. This one, all mine. Sticks it on, and they're like, "Oh, that's superb! It's all water based." Sends it round, takes a print of the white, brings it back because we're doing the Jaguar, the sort of like the simulator process, and they love the white underbase on a black garb, on a black piece of square fabric. They're like, "Oh, that looks good on its own. That's awesome." And let's just flash this off. Oh my God! And they set the bleeding place on fire.
Yeah.
It just went whoosh. It smoked. It just shrunk and curled. I'm like, we're not going to use that.
See, my flash obviously isn't that strong because...
Is it halogen? Or is it just an infrared panel?
The bulbs. Can you see it in the background over my shoulder?
They look like floodlights. Are they like curly little... Is it an Acosgraph?
Yeah. Yeah.
I met that guy.
I know you did.
I met that guy. I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Got pissed with him.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm impressed.
He listens to this all the time, so you can say hello to him. Tell him you're using one of yours.
Oh well, I like you. I love your flash dryer. I'll tell you what I will. I'll be constructive. Constructive criticism. Love the flash dryer. Don't like the sensor. The sensor had a mind of its own, so I've got a pedal on it. So whenever I want to flash, I just tap my foot. I feel much safer like that. But
does it move or activate?
With the sensor, it would activate.
All right, okay.
Randomly.
So it's a photo cell, so it's picking up some sort of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless your place is just... You might just be haunted in your place.
There's always...
It's an old building, isn't it?
Probably just how I had it set. I did have an engineer. I had an engineer. I had a bloke who sold it to me, come down and have a look at it. And he couldn't get it to work either.
I know who sold it to you. There's lots of S's in it.
It's got a wicked sense of humour.
Yeah, and they're all S's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. But yeah,
we've left them alone. That's why we're still cryptic, because we've not mentioned them yet.
No.
We've mentioned everybody else, but we haven't mentioned them yet.
I tell you what.
Hi, John.
That's it, John. Well, there's a couple in there.
There's John Mangan and Tony Gravel, yeah.
That's it. I think John's the lad who'll come down.
Yeah.
Bought it middle of lockdown now. I tell you what, as far as upgrades to your shop, press-wise, that was definitely one of my best upgrades, because I went from counting in my head to
The old black
an
flash
actual
panel.
timer. Yeah. That's a massive upgrade. And especially if you put it in water-based, I don't think you can do it without. Because
There used to be a guy in Scarborough.
All right.
Frank at Scarborough used to make flash units.
Never.
And everybody used to go to Frank at Scarborough. And they looked like they'd been made in his back garden, but they were proper solid.
Yeah.
And they worked really well. I can remember buying them. I bet he's still there anyway. But the ACOS craft, they're good ones. Like them.
They've got some good kit.
They do a lot more than you think, yeah, actually.
I know, because, you mentioned you've been out on piss with him, and I thought, I'll have a look at the website.
No, I had a business meeting with him.
Yeah, well.
We went out on piss. I led him a merry dance in rain, bless him, in middle of Mexico.
Oh, that was it, yeah. Hammered it down, didn't it?
Hammered it down. No, basically, so this is a purely legitimate thing. You go to the pub, it's dry, it starts raining, you haven't brought a coat, you can't go home until it stops raining. Well, apparently it rains for about 3 days in Mexico, so we were sat in the pub until we just didn't care. Then we walked home.
Yeah. Best way to do it. So, that really brings us on nicely to how's your week been so far? You look very chilled out and relaxed today.
My week's been crap.
Well, it's a podcast.
I know. Yeah, I'd love to say everything's fucking super, but it's not. It's very rare that I get that, like that. I'm known for being always good, which I'd love to talk about a little bit, but just because you've asked me what I'm doing this week, or since we last spoke. So since we last spoke, finished off in Belgium, and really, really, really impressed with that. That was one of the good ones.
You enjoyed that one, didn't you?
I did, yeah, because complete novices, green, but so willing and intelligent.
Yeah.
And when you've got that, we went from them not really understanding the difference between squeegees to doing 8-colour simulator process in water-based, in Magna as well.
That's not bad going.
With like one flash. So
yeah,
it sort of like makes you feel all warm inside.
All warm and fuzzy.
So yeah, I like that one.
It must have been nice to converse with somebody intelligent for a change.
It makes a change. So then what did I do then? Then from there, I went up to a place in Newcastle where they've just bought a Spider auto coater drying cabinet.
Right.
So I went to this place. This is an established place in Newcastle.
I know the guys.
They've got 2 presses. We do.
I do.
Different. Do you?
Yeah,
different people.
I know. They do. The main business is embroidery.
Yeah, they started with that, but they've got presses as well.
And we also have a factory doing finishing as well now.
They do, yeah, altered. Yeah. But you do know them. I'll check you out. So, I went up there. I spoke to them. I visited them, God knows how long, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe a year. And it was on behalf of someone else to try and sort a problem out. But while I was there, I was like, look, we need to look at this, and we need to look at this, and we need to look at this. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't make any money on anything. But really, for the size that you are, you're still doing things quite small scale. So if you want to look at moving forward and getting bigger and progressing, then we need to address mainly your screen room. Your screen room's it's a bit amateur. Without being offensive or without running anybody down, you need to look at how we can make this better, faster, cheaper, or quicker. So I gave him a list of what I needed to get, and it's taken a year or so. We finally got him up, and he's like, look, Tony, got everything in place. Don't really trust anybody else because they all want to sell me shit, and I'm sick of buying shit. So will you come up and show the lads how to go on? And in fairness, he's not really ready till next week.
All right.
But I had a spare day, so I nipped up there, and we basically looked at drying cabinets. We spoke about drying cabinets not long ago.
Yeah.
I'm still torn. I love the simplicity and efficiency of it.
Yeah.
But being from Yorkshire, would I pay for it? I don't know. I still go back to, the room idea and stuff, and it goes forwards and backwards in my head. And I'm all convinced for the room and the heater and the control. And then I see one of these units, and they're just so slick.
I mean, how fast can
so
a room
expensive.
possibly? Yeah. Can a room dry as fast as a cabinet? It can't, can it? But
no, it's got to be air movement. It can't. And
a
there's so many
cabinet
pluses.
can't hold several hundred screens either, can it? So
no. So it depends what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So got that in. Got the Spider in, which is the computer to screen. That was a. Well, if nobody's listening, I'll tell you a little secret if you want. It was a fuck up.
Really?
Yeah, because I turned it on and it pissed all the wax out of it. And I'm like, oh my God, where's that coming from? And I found the problem straight away, but it was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Turn this on. And,
Because that's pissing out wax.
Turn it. What's this on the floor? Oh, bollocks.
Got to plug that in.
Let's go back. Yeah. So apart from that, we got it running. It was just a little thing, but we got that running. An auto coater, which never got to because I didn't have the power to it because, like I say, I was early. But it was so good to see them go from where they were, which was still turning stuff to black and white, outputting films, the film's getting dirty, they're going through the shop, the printers not looking after the films, and then having to introduce a block-out procedure because the films were so dirty.
Yeah.
So having to block out, and it's very rare we see block out anymore. Do you use it?
No, yeah. I just use a tomato sauce bottle full of emulsion. I don't use actual block
I
out.
just use tomato sauce.
I use tomato sauce. Hey, somebody told me somebody uses nail polish.
So nail varnish on press for water-based, 100%. I've been doing that since the late 80s. No, because it's solvent-based, so it eats it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So the two blockers that you get are WR and SR.
Yeah.
So the WR is water-resistant and the SR is solvent-resistant.
Right.
So the solvent-resistant is blue blocker, which you can wash off with spit. And the SR is... the SR is water-resistant and one of them's nail varnish. One of them's solvent-based, so like a gloss paint that you just block in with.
The point is, though, it's another step in the process, which for a shop that's turning out big volume...
So it's a step in the process, but they've made it normal.
Yeah.
When a screen comes out, you can't put it straight in the press, you've got to block it. So somebody sat there blocking out on screens. And the Spider or any computer to screen imaging system pretty much gets rid of that. The only possible way now you've got anything to block out is dirt in the air when you're coating or dirt or environment.
Air bubbles.
You can still use glass, when you use these computer screens.
So you could print it and then just expose it as normal.
So the whole idea, in a perfect world, you'd buy a computer screen and then you buy an LED unit that doesn't have glass or vacuum.
Right.
The reason behind it, glass gets dirty. And we don't need vacuum because we don't need to hold the image close to the emulsion anymore because it's already printed on it.
It's touching it, yeah.
It's touching it. So usually, when you buy these Spyders, you buy a little upright LED unit, which is just a massive bank of LEDs with no vacuum and no glass. Works perfectly. But then if you've got something like a rapid tag, like an ASPI or something like that, or you're making transfers, then which are oversized on a flatbed.
Yeah.
Then you know what that is as a flatbed. That.
Yeah. I got
that. Then you need to have some sort of way of making transparencies and film still. So Sometimes I go into shops and they've got two.
Yeah,
They've got the LED, upright LED with no glass, no vacuum, and then in the back they've got an old unit.
Right.
Since doing a little bit more research, you can now get the Aspie frames into the Spider, so they've got a little attachment that goes in. It's a bit of a faff, but they go in, and we can get the print size bigger as well. Again, it's all about money, because every time you change the screen size, you pay more money.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where I'm wandering off to, but basically, they've kept their glass unit. So basically, it's got to be clean, number one, got to be absolutely spotlessly clean. And then you can stand it on. You know, when you buy emulsion and get the wooden stirring sticks?
Ah, yeah.
Stand the screen on those.
Yeah.
Set the screen on those. So it's just not quite touching the glass. And then expose it. Yeah, I think it's the same as you. I think you've got Starlight.
Yeah, I've got Starlight, yeah.
Yeah, so on a Starlight, you can set the vacuum time to 0.
Yeah, turn it off, yeah.
Set the vacuum time to 0 and just expose it that way.
So why would you need to raise it a couple of mil?
So you're printing wax.
Yeah.
So you actually physically
you don't want it to touch the glass?
I don't really want it to touch the glass. Now, it is bone dry, but it's wax, so there's a
It's soft in it.
You could squash it if you're doing really fine dots. There's an argument that you could actually squash it.
I'm with you.
Some people, when they buy these computer-to-screen units, take the glass out of their big units and put rails in. So they can just put those rails in.
Yeah,
so the 5 kilowatt metal halide lights are still around. And some people are going back to them.
Well, there's it all which is better. The big massive units with metal halide at bottom, or these LED. I've seen a few shops. Well, I've seen one shop in particular who actually tested both, and I'm pretty sure he settled on metal halide in the end. But is it going to depend on what emulsion you're using? I don't know.
I think it depends on the quality of print you do, the emulsion you use, the size of dots that you reproduce. You know, because at the end of the day, we are still printing onto t-shirts, so there is ultimate limits. But I've had this discussion this week about the exposure systems, in particular laser.
Yeah.
This is going on a tangent, but it's going like that.
It'll come back.
I'm sure you saw somebody posted on Instagram that their Spider was for sale.
Oh, yeah.
The second-hand Spider, and they're going back to film.
Really?
They're going back to film, and they just don't like the Spider. Now, I can actually relate. I really can, because I've been using both recently.
Yeah.
And although I love the Spider, and I love the computer to screen, and I love the file system, the fact that there's no films, the pre-registration is like 80% of it.
Yeah.
When you get really technical, the resolution of the Spider 2 is 600 dpi.
Right.
The Spider 3 is about 900, but the Spider 2 is about 600 dpi. Your film printer, your Epson, you know, that you've got two of. Oh, no, that's not you, is it?
No, that's not me.
No. I know someone who's got two of them. You know, like they just keep them knocking around, just keep the coffees and the Guinness on. But
if someone drinks Guinness plain.
Yeah. So your film printer is kicking out at 1200 dpi. 1440, I think the Epson pops out at 1440 by 720.
If you so desire.
Yeah, if you're not in a rush. So, which means that your edge is actually crisper and cleaner than an edge that's made on a Spider.
Yeah, we had this conversation on the £1 million print shop episode, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah. But the one we saw last week was the first time I've seen somebody go backwards from computer to screen back to film, purely based on the quality of the image that they're getting out of it.
And I think coming from them, like that says a lot as well, because they're good printers. They're pretty much the printer. If you're
when you started that conversation, I thought you were going to say they were shit, but I wasn't going to stop.
No, number one. I think
no.
If you're a shop of mine, if you're a small starter shop, or whatever, when I was growing up, was when I was a little lad. That's who I looked up to. I was like, bloody hell,
Well done.
like them one day.
So, when these units came into the market, this 600 DPI, I flagged it at the beginning. I went, it's half the resolution of my ink printer.
Yeah.
And what I got sold and what I got told, and I believed, and I'm 90% into it, I'm printing T-shirts.
Yeah, well, is that
you're printing T-shirts. You're going onto a fluffy surface. You can't hold anything more than 600 DPI. It's in your head. 600 DPI is good enough. You'll never see it. By the time it's printed, you'll never see it. And I thought, like, yeah, actually, you're probably right. But do you know what's happened over the last 8 years since those machines have been introduced?
We've all got way better at printing.
Exactly that.
The level of detail. I mean, some of the sim process stuff that people are putting out is crazy. It's
exactly that. It's exactly that. People have got better at printing.
Yeah.
And the standards, the things that we accept, that standard's got way up here. You know, it no longer says Impact was the font that we all used. The Impact, so you could get as much text as possible into one small page.
Condensed,
Impact, condensed, tall, blocky letters. Now, we've all got a mate that's a designer, and he's come up with some gradients and some really fine outlines. That
haven't even washed off yet.
There's a new one.
Oh, come off it.
So our expectations are getting higher and higher and higher. So we're actually producing better work. And I think, if I'm completely honest, and I like the unit, but I think we've left it behind.
Right.
And they've introduced another unit, which is 900. But I still think, as they introduced that, we moved up a step as well. I'm discussing now with the laser people what's an optimum resolution, and they can quite easily give me 2,500 DPI.
Right.
On the laser, and I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the laser. I think we sort of said, as far as technology goes, lasers are boy. Just super expensive. It's just at the moment it's just too expensive. But the more it's just I'm working with a manufacturer right now to bring that price down, keep that resolution high, and keep the same sort of quality. And I'm 100% convinced it's possible. Yeah.
And that means that we're going to enter into this next phase now, where we miss out the exposure unit completely. So we don't need the glass, the vacuum, and all that shit, and all those little bits where we need to put nail polish on the screen. Gone completely in one process. Which, let's face it, I started life sort of graphic industry, and the graphic and the T-shirts were always sort of like this, just a little bit, just a little bit. And then all of a sudden, computer-to-plate technology went in and graphics went like this. Fuck off, see you later, bye.
Yeah,
and we were still down here using a hammer, some sellotape, magic tape, a Sharpie, because a bit were missing off at film. And if you've ever done it, making a straight line with a bit of tape and put some emulsion remover on something. Just to try and remove a little bit and get a straight line back.
I use an earbud. If you get like a little dot in a letter, I get an earbud dipped in emulsion remover and let's fucking scrub away at the bloody thing.
We've all done it. It's worse if you get spot remover gun. I got really good with that spot remover gun.
Really? You can do it without damaging
spot remover gun.
Wow.
But you've got to have a steady hand. Don't have a beer at night before.
To be fair,
you have a steady hand.
I'm a sharpshooter with that thing, I tell you. I've had practice.
Little cheat, tape out with brown tape the bits that you don't want to damage.
Yeah.
And then you can be a little bit more blasé.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't let the chemical dry in the mesh.
No, get rid of it pretty sharpish.
Yeah, get rid of it pretty sharpish. So, I think the resolution, if we start at 2,500, means that now if we get a unit on the market that is double the resolution of a standard inkjet printer, already we've got an improvement.
Yeah. I mean,
not only is it's faster, it's better, it's sharper, it's cleaner, all these things. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, laser seems like the way to go.
100%. If you're going to spend the money anyway, then definitely, yeah.
Laser combined with Chippy Tea UV ink, like, that'll transform your life. Imagine when that goes off, honestly.
I've got so many little things. I've got so many little things that I need to work on, don't I? I'm still trying to make a fogging unit. And I gave you a massive tip the other day.
Did you? Remind me.
You sent me a video of you using it.
The water-based adhesive. That was a good one, that. Yeah. Shall I show it? Shall we do a show and tell?
No, I need to patent it.
All right, yeah, okay.
Are you still using it?
Good luck patenting that. Yeah, I've been using it.
Oh, no. Have you?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Well, it's going to get patented because it's going to be... That's the theory.
It's going to be modified.
It's going to be modified. It's going to be a litre. It's going to be a litre bottle.
Oh, yeah. I've just twigged. See, I'm using. Yeah. Right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got legs.
You've got the messy bit in the middle.
Aye, that's legs. I've got legs. So, Tony, I'm sure you just asked me something, but I forgot. But before I forget, how much we're saying for an autocoater? We did this at £1 million. I've just completely forgot what we're saying.
Autocoater.
Ballpark figure.
They were between 12 and 14.
Yeah.
And I think they've come down.
Yeah.
I think you can probably get a single one now for around about between 7 and 10.
I'd say that was yeah. I mean, I get a press first, but I think after a press and a dryer, that's got to be next on my list.
Somebody asked me a question. As if by magic. Were it you? If it were you, it won't by magic.
Not that I know of.
Okay. Do I have much experience with semi-automatic coaters? So have you seen the semi-automatic ones? They're usually from Vastex. And
does it have a pedal? I think it has a pedal, doesn't it?
I don't know if it's got a pedal or a switch, but most coaters have a stationary screen, coating trough both sides, but I've only got 2 hands.
Yeah.
And the screen stays stationary, and the coating trough comes up, goes down, goes like that, and goes like that. It goes like that. Even if you sat in car listening to radio, it goes like that. Okay, just deal with it. So the semi-automatic coaters, obviously, all that assembly that makes this coating trough move in and out, hold pressure, get a certain angle, get a certain speed, all that can be stripped away into one motor that we apply to the screen.
Oh, and then you'll just sit your coater
you
to it.
Hold your coater to it using your hands.
It. And the screen moves.
And the screen drops down.
Sin it.
And then you pull your coater back up, and then you go back like that again. So somebody's just asked me whether that's a good idea or not.
What do you think?
No.
It is a good idea, but...
So, okay, what do I think?
Worth of money?
For you, I think it's a good idea.
Right.
For this guy that asked me, who's got an auto press and thinking about another one, it's not a good idea.
Basically, what you're saying is, this guy's got cash. Bad idea. Spend some dollar. If you're skint...
No, he makes more screens than you dick. He makes more screens than you. So if you're going to make
more money than me, that's why.
He's got an auto to pay for.
Yeah.
So no, yes, I like them. For you, it will probably transform your life for a very small investment.
Yeah.
But for someone who's serious about making lots of screens in a production environment, then that wasn't meant to make you sound bad. That it's just you're not a full production environment.
I know, and I've not took it personally.
I'm going.
Why that's what, Tony? You can't offend me. We've done 21 episodes now. You know you can't offend me.
21 episodes. You remember when you spoke to me when I was sat in Ireland and you went, why don't we do podcast.
It was in Africa. Yeah. It was Africa, not Ireland.
All right. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was Africa.
First one we did, I was in Ireland.
That's right. Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah.
For you, might work to get consistent coating. But I'm sure you've told me before, you're actually quite good at coating.
Yeah, it's just time. It just takes time, doesn't it? And now
this wouldn't save you any time. This would make it more consistent.
No, that's true. I suppose it won't. Well, I mean, to be fair, I am always chasing quality improvements. I've had this thought. Maybe this leads on nicely to an idea I've had, which I would like to test. But maybe I should just ask your thoughts, because sometimes I have these ideas, and you could nip them in bud straight away because it's a shit idea. So,
what do you mean? Like, let's run a few transfers at the end of every job idea?
Yeah, that was Jade's idea. I'm not taking responsibility for that one.
Jasmine's, and that's why she's gone.
Yeah, we'll blame it on Jasmine. So I was thinking about underbase screens, underbase whites.
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, you hit an underbase white, hit it once, and you're getting a nice opaque white to sit your colours on top and then to sit your highlight on top.
Yeah.
Now, depending on your screen, obviously you're going to use a lower mesh, maybe a 42. I was thinking about using capillary film to have a thicker, more consistent stencil purely on the underbases, just to get a more opaque white down as a base layer. But that ties in nicely with having an auto coater, because you can control it then. So you can set your parameters for stencil thickness. But yeah, I was thinking about, because we had a conversation about, is it an idea, instead of coating screens, use film, capillary?
Yeah.
And then the limitations of that is cost.
No, I'd like you to try it, because I worked the cost out.
Right.
When I worked the cost out, there wasn't anything in it.
Right,
there was very little in it. You had to buy right. You had to buy the right amount from the right people.
Yeah.
And I think I voiced my thoughts to you at the time. It was like, why do we wet coat? Why don't we dry coat? With capillary film. Whose idea was it that this is better? Because we're getting inconsistent results. We're getting contaminants in the emulsion. We're getting all these different variables. Why don't we just use capillary film? And I'd love for you to be the guinea pig.
Tell you what, you'll give me those contacts and the costs that you've worked out, and I'll try
provide it cheaper.
My initial test was to test it, as I just said, as an underbase white, to see if I can get a more opaque first layer down.
Yeah.
But I mean, if costing wise, try it.
I wouldn't use it for anything else. I don't think I'd use it for anything else. I'd only use it for that.
You won't.
Just to get that thickness right. Because you're buying it at that thickness, so you know there's no variation. But I've not tried it. There must be a reason why people don't do it, and I can only think that prior, the reason was cost. I'll give you a for instance.
Yeah.
Remember ages ago, I posted a video, a really, really sort of fascinating video on my Instagram of a pen printing.
Oh, yeah.
Printing the pens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the screens are all that big.
Oh, yeah, tiny, aren't they?
No bigger than that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around and I can see all these little different sized coating troughs and stuff. And I'm like, how big's the coating trough for that? It must be like a credit card. And I'm like, how did they do that? So I'm hanging around. And that's when I noticed it's just a little piece of capillary film stuck on there.
Yeah. And
they do 3 or 4 at a time. In fact, they were doing a sheet, like an A3 sheet, lining 4 screens up and bang, done, finished, cutting between the frames. I'm like, maybe there's something in this. And that was higher mesh counts. So that was all in the 120s, 140s. Yeah,
well, I mean, one of the benefits I'm seeing in my head to using film at a certain thickness is I can up my mesh count. So instead of exposing 43s, maybe I can use 50, is it 55s, 52s? I can't remember what
55.
It is. Maybe just up it a notch More detail, crisper exposures with a thicker stencil. So I'm still getting a good opacity, but I'm just producing better screens.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd love for you to try it. The place I saw all the stuff was Pyramid.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking.
Pyramid were selling, I think it's ProCap film. And they're probably aiming it at the graphics industry, like the pens and the hard goods.
Yeah.
But do some maths, work out a perfect coverage, a perfect size that you want, and then work backwards from there.
Is it water-based? It's water-based resistant.
Yes.
Right.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit we didn't know, but I'm going to say yes.
Well, I'll do some more research. You send me some info and we'll try it. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll order some stuff in and I'll give it a go because I can definitely see a benefit to that. Improving the opacity of my underbase is obviously very beneficial. Being able to up my mesh count for my underbases, again, I can only be positive. As you know, I only print water-based whites. So underbase, I would have I could use a separate screen system film for that. And then I could use my emulsion for my plastisol with no issue because plastisol emulsion's easy to expose and you're not messing about. Whereas water-based, you do have to be you have to get it bang on, especially Aquaflex white. It can start to eat. It can start to absorb the moisture.
It's a bit aggressive, yeah.
So,
do you measure your EOM?
No. I use my fingers to do it.
I think I've told you I bought all the kit to do it with.
Yeah.
I now just use my fingernail.
You can feel it, I guess.
You can tell, you can feel it.
Image.
But that's hard to put a number to. But unless I'm getting an absolutely rock solid number, in which case you've got to buy I think it's about £1,000 unit to actually test the thickness and then the resistance. Yeah. And then you start to get all scientific-y. That's a real word, scientific-y.
Yeah.
And it's where do you draw the line? Because we are printing T-shirts. How far do we go down this road of locking all these tiny little parameters in?
I would say this. If you've got a laser in your shop and autocoaters and all that stuff, then's the time to go that far. You might as well.
Yeah.
Get somebody in with gear. Don't go buy it. Just get an expert in with gear. Spend a day or two getting everything bang on. Because once you've got it sorted, you're laughing at you.
Yeah, you're not going to test it again.
If you're me, just use your chuffing fingers. Like we can't possibly.
We just found the title.
Anyway,
we just found the title of this week's episode.
Just use your chuffing fingers.
Just use your chuffing fingers.
Right, I need to know that now.
Tune in for Just Use Your Chuffing Fingers.
I've realised the titles that I pick out are quite. They do translate to views.
Yeah, definitely.
And I started to think about that. Before I was just picking out random sentences that I thought were funny, but now we have to be a bit more.
Like the T-Rex arms. Yeah. Clickbait. Check us out. Get all corporate.
Oh, I know. Chuffing now.
We'll have a website and everything next.
You've been working on it.
Does the website exist? It's not slick, but it exists. Because we were looking, because obviously talking about all these parameters and looking at all these different things. It's how far do you measure? I'm not sure. I love to cut the variables out. I love to get things standardised. I go in a shop that's got no tension meter. And I'm like, that's bad.
Yeah.
We need a tension meter. You need to know what they are.
You need to know.
But then I go in a shop without a resistance meter or a moisture meter for how much water's left in the screens. I'm like, leave it in overnight. It'll be dry tomorrow.
Yeah. And plus, that's not the case. Well, here we go. That brings us nicely on to your screen room. Keeping your screen room at 50% humidity, as we learned many episodes ago. Just having a little box on your wall that just sort of tells you.
Yeah.
So
climate control. That's what we need to
Climate
do.
control.
Just control the environment. Because you were saying that put your emulsion in a fridge. And I'm like, no, because if you take it out of the fridge, all of a sudden then it's in a warm room. So you've just changed everything. You don't use it in the fridge. So
yeah, that was one of our features that we did many episodes ago. And I've sort of forgot to bring back. I'll have to bring that back. I can't remember what we called it. It was basically my attempt to piss you off and give a life hack. That was it. Myth busting with Tony. I just put some idea that I know was going to irritate you.
Some random shit that you've read on internet somewhere. You've seen on a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And you've gone, hey, Tony, does this work? And I have to put you right. No.
Yeah. So last week we talked about the screen room. We talked about drying cabinets. We had this whole conversation. I went away. I looked at my spare room. So back of this shop, very back of this shop, there's a room which is basically just full of shit. It's just the room that we chuck as crap in now, and it's not really achieving out. So I've considered, it's got carpet in that room, cutting carpet out, chucking some kitchen lino down, whatever you call it, vinyl lino, partitioning it into two halves. That was your idea, but I want to pretend it was my idea. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a stud wall, not a masculine, attractive wall, just a wall built as. I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't know where you were going because you were putting it all in it as well. I'm like, where are you going with this?
Right, yeah. Anyway. So I'm going to make a wall, leave a doorway, and I'm going to use you have butcher's curtains, like clear plastic curtains. You can I found that you can actually get UV.
You get red ones, yeah. Oh, welders curtains and stuff, yeah.
Oh, is that right? Welders curtains. And this room's got two massive windows in. I'll black that out. I wanted to use the yellow film, the UV safe film, but as we discussed,
I think over
probably not worth it.
Yeah. Well, one, it's expensive, and over time, if you're using it for screen storage, you got to think that maybe they're going to be in there for maybe a week, 2 weeks. Then I think that just that little bit of light is going to actually make. Well, what it does, it makes them go foggy. It fogs the screens, so that your image is no longer as sharp and as clean because a lot of it's already been exposed, and you find it hard to wash out. And then you're using more power, and then you blow one out, and you're like, "It must be me. I'm shit." What you didn't realise is it's the yellow film on that's on the bright sunshine windows. Yeah,
you told me a tip that I think you'd heard from someone else. And it was like, put £1 on the screen or something. Just do a screen, leave £1 on it, and then come back to it in a few weeks and see if it's exposed or something like that. And then you've got a light leak. Yeah,
I actually did this in a shop, and we thought it was. Well, no, what it was, we were testing the LED lights. So they'd got some LED lights, and they got told that they were UV blocking LED lights, but they were bright white. And I'm like, I have seen them. Trust me, I have seen them up at a place up in Newcastle, in Durham, and I was really surprised. But after weeks and weeks and weeks, the screens are fine. But this one looked a bit sus. So I said, look, what we're going to do is we're going to put a 10p fine on it because I can't afford £1. I'm not like that. And I think at the hour in the morning and the afternoon, we took that screen and we washed it out, and we could see the impression of the 10p piece.
Bloody hell. It's a shame, really, because it would be handy to have a white lit room that you could expose your screens in. But, I mean, my issue is I'm doing washing and exposing and storing screens all in the same room now. And I keep it as dry as possible. Yeah, well, I keep it as dry as possible. I have a big dehumidifier, keep all the doors sealed, and it works, but it's not ideal. So above that room is the room I've been talking about, the spare room. I think I'm going to turn that into my screen storage room for one half, separated, dark, UV safe lights and all that crap, my butcher's curtains, and then the other side, I'll put my exposure unit in there and a coating, my coating rack. And then I'll just do all my coating, all my dry screen work up there, and then wash them downstairs, and then I can put some normal bulbs in and I can actually see what I'm doing.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So that's my plan. Oh, and
I think it's a good
part
idea.
of my plan as well is the stud wall is to put some big air extractors pulling air out. So I'm not necessarily going to heat that room.
Just have good air movement.
Get air coming out. Whether I have one going in and then one facing outwards, so it's like cycling the air. I don't know. I've not worked that bit out yet. But I've got a loose plan.
I think I once did that. I had 2 rooms joined by, that spiral tubing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like flexible stuff.
No, the rigid spiral tubing, the rigid
like more
ducted.
industrial stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I linked 2 rooms, but then I realised I'm creating pressure in one.
All right.
So then I linked them back again.
You basically
So the air
made
was
a
flowing
vacuum.
around the
Create a
air
black
was flowing
hole.
around the top. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
what
basically.
no longer exists.
Yeah. It disappeared into another dimension. Yeah.
Never seen them since. We don't mention that one. We'll keep that story up shelf with Bungee Smuggler story.
That's a different one, yeah. That shouldn't exist.
It's a loose idea.
Totally, 100%. Get that screen storage and coat in place away from all that water.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. So somebody actually emailed me who had seen last week's episode, and they sent me photos of their drying cabinet, which they'd made.
All right.
I thought, oh, very nice of them. We just heard the episode, and we just thought, oh, I'll just email him and show him my little setup. And they just made a wooden box, put a little heater in, and staggered the screens. So one screen that side, one screen that side. So the airflow sort of spirals its way across and then comes out at the top. Yeah, it was all right. A little DIY project. So
Have you got the corner thing? I keep seeing people with corner slats in a corner of the room.
I haven't. I've got the metal dinner tray racks that you see in cafeterias. But I've seen that. But instead of making racks with sides, we just put corners into the room. I mean, you just like hang them in.
Yeah, and then
I feel about
what
that.
side screen you're using.
No, I've used that, haven't I? Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, I've had
10 of them gone down. It works. But I mean, the place I was at only had 3 drying cupboards, 3 drying drawers.
All right. What, so
it was
3 at a time?
Could only dry 3 screens, either from being degreased or from being coated. Could only do 3.
Why do people buy them?
That was a bottleneck.
Yeah, you're not kidding. They're better off with a Dave Roper special. That would have done.
The main reason to buy them, it's an all-in-one unit, so it was where the metal halide unit was. So it was the exposure, and then underneath the exposure was 3 drawers. I imagine the pen guy, the guy making the pen screens.
Yeah, to be fair, you could put a ton in.
50, 60 screens in there, so it's perfect for him.
Yeah.
But when you get to T-shirts and you're going to get 1 per drawer, then it gets crazy.
Bit awkward, yeah.
And just as a, I don't think they listen to this, so we're all right. And it's not running anybody down. One of the things that I taught them was the glass on the exposure unit has to be cleaned.
Yeah.
And they looked at me and were like, what? You've got to clean the glass. Have you got some Mr. Muscle or some Windoline or something?
No.
We can go get some. I said, what? Hold it there. The fact that you do...
That was before vibrating. No, that was before vibrating.
The fact that they don't have any in that screen room means they've never used it. So I said, well, you need to get a little glass scraper and get all the bits of dry emulsion off. We need to clean it and everything. So when was the last time you cleaned it? We've never cleaned it. From day one? Yeah, from day one, we just didn't think it was important. So come on, mate. You see that little mark on that screen? Yeah. Get me another screen. Get me another screen. See that mark? It's the same mark. Yeah. Now come with me. You see that blob of dried emulsion on the glass? Is that where it's coming from? Yeah. It is.
You know. I used to insist that
I'm going to kill this fly in such a slow, methodical, torturous way if it keeps fucking me off.
The quality's dropped a little bit for me, so I can't see it now. Earlier on, I could see it flying around your head. It was quite funny, but now I can't see it.
Little fucker, keep leave me alone.
Bruce Lee reactions. I used to teach me screen gobbling. I used to insist that my screen gobbling always windling the exposure unit before he starts to so it would do all the screens on a particular day. I'd say, right, before you start the day, give that a windling. Give it a minute to dry and then do your screens. Just out of habit. I'm sure he ignored me, but that's what he's supposed to do.
I think it's time you're going back.
I'm going to chuffin need one, actually. I mean, it's a thought, especially just to get over Christmas. Maybe I have to get someone in temporarily. Well, not temporarily, but just maybe put the word out, see if anybody wants to do it. But we'll see.
That's your opportunity. Anybody wants to come and get some free experience?
Oh, yeah, well, if you want to do it for free, anytime, no matter at all. Come down. I'll buy you McDonald's for dinner or something.
Steady on.
Yeah. So, many episodes ago, we had somebody, we had Ewart send us a question, didn't we? Would now be a good time to touch on that whilst we're at it, do you think?
Is this the cleaning?
Yeah, we've given it a few episodes, haven't we?
We've given it a few episodes, yeah. I've not really bullied anybody. So we've got a few replies, which we're always grateful for. And the question was...
Well, why don't I play it?
Okay, go for it.
I'll do it on my phone. I was going to get all technical and make a slideshow, but I've realised it's just not our IP, is it? It's just not how we do it. I'll just put it on my phone.
Slick's not what we do.
Right then, can you see Ewart here? We kind of failed it. Right, can I press it?
Yeah.
Hello, Chippy Tea. Ewart from Neat Print back here. I've got another question. What is everyone's favourite on-press screen cleaner? I quite like this Franmar one. It's not too smelly. Seems to do the job. Yeah, let's hear it. What's everyone's favourite on-press screen cleaner?
Interesting. So Ewart likes his grandma's screen cleaner. What does everybody else like? What does everybody else like? Well, we touched on what I like. I forgot. What was it? AK-47 from Alchemy or something like that.
AK-47?
Something like that.
You think you're getting confused with something there,
yeah. So, as usual, first in line to jump in, can always rely on...
Hey gentlemen, hope you're well. Cole Bradford here from PXC Agency. I'm just sending my submission for your guys' cleaning product question. We use all water-based ink here, so we try to go with an eco-friendly, dolphin-safe solution for all cleaning and reclaiming. So we went with the Franmar.
Is yours his grandma again?
Another grandma.
Chemicals went really well, I can't complain. The water-based ink remover is great on press as well, although sometimes water is best. There's always a bucket of water around for any job anyway. The only thing that lets it down is the haze remover. After speaking with your boy Danny, he got me onto the LSR30, which I don't think is dolphin safe, but
definitely not
great. So, it's definitely true that it's not good for you. It's probably good at the job.
Some people are listening. Awesome. I have actually used that. So that Franmar... No, the Franmar water-based ink remover or ink cleaner.
Yeah.
I've used it, God knows where. Oh, the dirty place. And it was awesome.
Really?
At cleaning the mesh. You know when the mesh doesn't quite clean? On like a red and a black.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things with water-based ink.
Oh, it was awesome.
Pain to clean.
And it's just like a soapy liquid.
Don't you?
Yeah, it's like a soapy liquid, but it was awesome on press.
On press, right. See, I remember trying to clean water-based out using typical plastisol cleaners, AK-47. It sort of dries it. It dries.
Yeah.
It does the opposite.
It sets
it in.
Yeah, it sets it.
Yeah. So actually, that's an interesting result from Carl, because the water-based, the dolphin printers, typically don't use a chemical, as you will
No.
find out. I'll tell you what, let me hit you with a fellow dolphin printer. And this is sort of the standard response from the dolphin guys. Here we go.
What's up, guys?
Dolphin.
This is Franklin from Droplet. So, the question is, what is it that we use when cleaning on press? One simple answer: water. That's it. We always have a bucket, and we have to clean on press. We use water. We are from the Magna Colors family, and that's what we use on a daily basis. Aqua. Thank you.
Bit of water.
Water.
Council pop. Just gozzes on it. Scrubs it in.
Council pop.
Aye. So.
Their inspiration word with
Oh, that was a sneak peek, that.
Yeah, well, it's a preview. We're getting
Well,
slick at
well,
this
listen
technology
to-
shit, aren't we?
We fucking cracked it. This is top quality viewing.
Right, this is, yeah. I'm going to hold my phone up and you can read it. Yeah, go for it.
I could have spent half an hour putting some crappy little slideshow together, which nobody even watches. I just hold my phone up, save myself half hour's work.
We can talk about it then, can't we?
How about our mate? Our mate Bryce.
For press wash, on press wash, we use Easy Way 42. Keep it in some of these condom bottles.
Keeps it in a
Also,
condom bottle.
we've got a bunch of these plungers all over the shop.
You had one of them.
Things.
Yeah.
We use it to clean the press, to detail the press, to clean the screens, to do a wash-up-in screen if we're going from color to color, although we don't do a lot of that anymore. It's easier just for a screen. We've tried lots of other stuff over the years. Nothing's worked quite as well as Easy Way 42 for us. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, buddy. So,
Can we get Easy Way over here? Can we get Easy Way over here?
Dave sells it. I think Dave sells
Does he?
Easy Way stuff. I might be right. Well, I think he does, yeah.
I keep getting a lot of reports saying it's good, certainly as a stripper and as a cleaner as well. So yeah, okay.
I think Easy Way is
Easy
a little
solve.
bit more. Yeah. I think it's a little bit more dolphin friendly than.
It is a little
stuff.
bit dolphin friendly, yeah.
Bryce brought up an interesting point there. Forgot what it was. Colour change. Colour changes. That's an interesting diversion for until we come back to it. But do you even bother with colour changes nowadays? Because I know some people charge a colour change fee and they'll print.
Yeah.
They'll swap it with colour. But
I want it red on the black ones, black on the red ones.
I don't like
Black
to
on the
do
red
that,
ones, red on the black ones. I used to hate it. Absolutely
I do.
detest it in a production environment because they used to say, "Well, I've charged him a tenner." Well, I don't care. It's cost me 20 quid on press.
It's way more than a tenner's worth of work, isn't it?
Yeah, and now with the onset of computer to screen with the pre-reg, and I can make a screen for around about £3.75 to a £5, then I can just clean swap it out.
Yeah.
Just straight swap. Put the squeegees to one side, put some new clean squeegees in, and I'm done. And while the machine's running, then I'll do my cleaning.
Yeah.
If
I
not,
don't like it.
I can't print while I'm cleaning.
Yeah.
And I always get, you think it's clean, and then you put your next colour in, you can see traces of it, and you're like, oh, I wish I'd have cleaned that properly. And then you start to clean where the tape was. You can't clean the tape, so you end up retaping it. As you rip the tape off, you see the ink underneath it. You thought, I can't tape over the top of that, so I'm going to clean that as well. And by the time you've done, you're 30 minutes down, and you're like, well, that tenner didn't cover it.
Nah.
Yeah,
I think you're risking degrading the print quality by, you're scrubbing away at that screen to get it spotless. If your emulsion's not spot on, it's going to break down ever so slightly. So I don't like to do it.
I've run out of power on my phone, and it's powering out internet connection.
Oh, right then, let's get this up. Let's get this over with. Who's next? Shit, that's me. That's me. Wrote a password. You don't need that. Oh shit! Hang on.
Oh, you're awesome at this. No, it's smooth.
Hope you're well, mate. I think the question you asked was, what do we use in our screen printing to clean on press? And the answer is water. We use water-based inks. We use a water-based adhesive.
So that allows the guys to use warm soapy water and a squeegee to clean down during shift and to clean at the end of the day. That works really well for us in our production environment. All the best, mate. Take care. Loving the podcast. Cheers, bye.
Awesome. Warm soapy water. Now, here's a key, right? It has to be warm. Do you know why it has to be warm?
No.
Because it feels nice on my hands. That's the only reason.
No.
I don't want to put my hand in a cold bucket of cold water. I don't want to do
Cold
that.
water book. Right.
Bucket of cold water.
That was Chris from SBD. Hell of a company. Make amazing weightlifting belts. I'm not that, I can't afford them, but I hear good.
And again, just in case he missed the hint, what do you really like about SBD?
The belts, weightlifting belts. I think I'm medium. So. I'm joking. Who we got next? Right then. Do we go Sarah or do we go workwear? Let's go workwear. Let's see if Sarah goes last.
Hey lads, the Chippy Tea.
Then.
The clean downs, we use the Easy Solve.
Easy Solve.
Yes.
So you...
Now that's
Easy
Paul.
Solve.
That's Paul, or Odge, as everybody calls him.
Odge, yeah.
And he actually misinterpreted the question. Hi, Sarah.
Yes, that's not a press wash. Sorry, I'm getting that one ready.
No, he misinterpreted the question.
Right, go on then.
So he sent me his first link, which I'm not sure I sent you to or not. It's his first video he sent me. Because we said, what do you use to clean on press?
Yeah.
Now, that's me and you talking on press. While we're on press, we're printing. So cleaning on press and cleaning in the screen room are two different things. He actually thought I meant, what do I use to clean the press?
Oh, right, yeah.
So cleaning the press, obviously it's a dirty industry that we're in. And he gave me a product, which I have to try, because he says it's absolutely awesome. And I can't find it on my phone now. It's probably this one.
Have
you see
I've
it?
Seen that. Yeah.
Soybean 500.
From Blue Bear. Which,
Blue Bear. Have you heard of it? Never heard of
Dave sells it. Dave sells it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I think it's like a glue remover or something.
We need to get Dave on here, yeah, because he uses it to clean his actual metal parts of the press, and says it's awesome for getting all the sticky glue and everything, all that shit off, and it brings it up really, really well, which is always a pain in the ass to try and
that
get
is
all
a
that
really
crap
good
off
tip,
there.
actually. That's because I've got a bucket just to me left, full of sugar soap.
Left. Right.
I was hoping you'd not notice that, but yeah, I will try to look it up. And sugar soap. I can't say that word. Sugar
soap. The old decorator's trick. Sugar soap.
Yeah, I'm
Gets rid of grease, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm using that to clean my press. But I might try that Blue Bear. That's a good little tip.
Try that Blue Bear. Some at 500 soybeans. So that must be dolphin and turtle friendly.
Well, if it's made of soybeans, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I think.
Unless they use the back of a turtle to squash the soybeans.
Well, that's in the frying pan. You think it's eco-friendly, but it's all just an illusion. Bit smoke and mirrors. Right, Sarah, what are you using to...
Hi, Tony. To clean on press,
I'm Daddy.
I just take it off press and clean it and put the screen on, because I don't know if cleaning water-based works very well on press. If you've got something that works, you tell me.
Well, we might have just told you. What did we say? Was it
Franmar and Easy Way.
Franmar. Yeah.
I've seen Franmar in action on press for water based. The Easy Way is more of a solvent, I think. So it's more for cleaning like your plastisol stuff. But the Franmar stuff, I saw it comes in a box with a little tap on.
It does. It's like
making you think it's wine.
That's it. Yeah. When you like pop the skin and you think, I need to get pissed real quick.
I'll get a box of wine.
Boxes.
So yeah, I've used that, and the first time I used it, I was like, "What's this?" Now the guy in the shop, I says, "I like this. What is it?" "Oh, that's that Franmar stuff. It's good, that, yeah, but don't use it." "Oh, why? Is it bad for the screen?" but it's really expensive. So we use water first, and only if it's difficult do we use the fan master.
Ah, right.
I'm like, screw that. Use this fan master. Just use it properly. Get rid of that tap. Put it into a plunger.
Yeah.
Like your plunger can, and use it like that, and you're not wasting it. Yeah, if it's expensive.
Yeah, so when you're cleaning on press, do you use a spray bottle? Because a lot of it does get wasted in air, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it, really? Yeah.
In fact, let's just briefly touch on it. We've got 3 systems. Bucket and a brush, spray bottle. Oh, I suppose you could use a plunger. I've never thought of that, but which would you go for?
I like spray bottle.
You prefer the car wash. That's what I've just read.
Yeah. You touched on Franklin there at a Droplet. They use chamois leathers.
Oh, yeah, that was where that genius idea came from. If you're a water-based printer, that's like mind-blowing.
So instead of using blue roll that goes to landfill, instead of using rags and cut-up T-shirts where you fucked up between silver and grey, you don't have to do that anymore.
Wow, that cut deep.
Then all you need to do, chamois leather, and keep cleaning it and washing it. Just keep washing them. Wash them, dry them out, rinse them out. And it worked really well.
That's a proper mind-blowing tip, is that? So obvious as well, isn't it? But then when you realise.
It seems like it now, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was question of the week, even though it took us 6 weeks to give you the answers.
It took us a while, didn't it? Yeah.
So what we'll have to do is, maybe we should, unless you've got a question, have you got a question, or do we open it up and send us a question? And then
I got a question.
Yeah?
I don't even know what day it is, Danny.
No, do I, to be fair. Where are you gone? There you go.
I'm still here.
You're back.
Still here.
The audio's changed, but we'll roll with it.
My microphone went off.
Oh, there we go.
I've had to plug power into my laptop because we've been gassing on that long. It's dying.
Right.
I think we're back now.
Is you back? Are you on your microphone?
Yeah. Maybe.
Don't sound it.
Oh, you bastard.
Switch it over, and then we'll sign it off.
Yeah. It's probably not gonna. It's on. That went well, didn't it? Plugging that power in went really well.
Yeah, all that way.
You can't change devices while recording, Tony. You dick.
Right. Well, just leave it as it is. I can hear you.
Yeah. Right,
Apologies for the audio change. It's Tony's fault.
I'll take it. Yeah.
So, question of the week. Do you have a question, or shall we open it up and allow contributions?
I think we open it up. I had a couple written down. Oh, I had some notes.
Yeah.
Did I have some notes? I had some notes ages ago.
I dare ask you to find them because you might turn your camera off or something.
Make me get out to be some sort of technophobe. Because I am. It was in our shared Google Drive, so you've probably got it.
I'll tell you what, let me have a look.
You'll probably find it faster than I will.
Talk amongst yourselves if you're watching.
It'll be fine,
We'll get back to you.
Chippy Tea. Questions. Screw you, found it.
Get in. Right then. Go on then.
Oh, I've not opened it, I've just found it.
All right.
Okay. Like this one. Why you touched on it earlier. Have you frozen?
No, I'm just listening.
I'm okay.
Really interested in what you got to say.
You just look gormless at me.
I know, we've established it's just me look, isn't it? That's just me look.
just gormless. So, white flash white. Base standard of all printing, maybe 80% of everything we do. White flash white. Text, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, normal text. Crappy text. Intricate text, don't care. What mesh count? Both screens, what mesh count?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Actually, this is really weird because that is a question that I had ringing around my head earlier today. So we could go with this option. Print, flash, print, same screen.
Yeah.
Let's just say use a 42 to print, flash, print your design. It's just a single colour white print, 42. Now, I was considering, and here's another test I was thinking of running. So, get a 42 under base, and then go up the mesh counts, 55, 66, 63, 77, 90, as your highlight white. I wonder what results you would get if you printed your underbase white and then each screen as a highlight. I wonder which would produce the most opaque. Or would it just be 42 print flash print?
This is why I want to open it up, because there's lots of people that have got different ideas. I'm a 43 guy. I love two 43s. 2 screens. Don't forget automatic. So I need to have different angles, speeds, and pressures for my top white. Yeah. Same mesh count, but different printing techniques. Right. So in the same way that when you print your first base white and you flash it, when you come back, you might put a bit more angle on.
Yeah, usually it does alternate.
Print a bit faster. Yeah. So if I only use one screen on the press, I can't change in between prints.
I see.
So on press, I have to use 2 screens. So this is a standard question. 2 screens, white, flash, white. Plastisol, Aquaflex, doesn't matter. Other water-based whites are available, but don't waste your time. Then what mesh count do you use? Do you use a low count on your bottom and a high count on your top to get a nice crisp clear? Do you use 43-55? Or, if you're in America, 110? Are you a 110-110 guy? Are you a 110-156? Do you change between 2 different top whites, or do you keep them both the same? Let us know.
That was a perfect time for a screen to freeze. Sorry, you're back now.
I'm back now.
Just at the right time.
I'm getting phone calls, so that's probably why.
Ah, that's why then.
Yeah.
Right then. You've got phone calls to answer. I feel like we've had a nice episode. Thought that was a good chat. I enjoyed it. Had a lovely time.
I think so. You've gone completely from my screen, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, then that's more of a reason to end it then.
Yeah, I think.
Quick whilst we were ahead.
We'll go with thank you very much for listening. You have been listening to me, Tony Palmer from Palm Print, and
Danny D from Flipper Sweet Print Co. See you next week.
And we're going to sign out. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, like, subscribe, tell your friends, pester anybody you know. Let's get more and more people involved in this. And as always, leave a comment. Slide into Danny's DMs. He loves it when you slide into his DMs. Do anything you can to get involved. Leave us some information and we'll go from there. And we would love to hear from you. You never know, you could be even on the podcast next week if you give us a good enough answer. Leave some comments in the section on YouTube. Join us on Spotify. And all that remains to say is, I'll see you later. See you there.
Stop. Right, whatever.
Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy